You see a lot of people getting their LLC, but they haven't planned their business. They don't know who their customers are. They haven't made any sales. Really want to emphasize considering sole proprietorship legal structure before you rush and get that LLC. What's most beneficial for you? Does it make sense for you to have an LLC, or should you start with the sole proprietorship in the beginning so you can focus on growing your business without the stress of all of that additional paperwork? Um, okay. A while back, I was having a conversation on Reddit, to be exact, about going digital nomad. And I had referenced going digital nomad as a way of saving money, specifically for retirement, but saving money in general. And some Reddit users had the same idea. But the responses outside of our three-person conversation was kind of all over the place. And I was kind of surprised because some people said, yeah, go for it. Others wanted to be careful. You might not be paying into Social Security. And then there was the classic, that's a dumb idea. Saving money isn't a reason to go nomad, right? So that comment didn't age very well. But this whole conversation made me realize that there's a lot of people that don't actually understand self employment tax and exactly how that works. And here's why self employment tax matters, how DBA, sole proprietorships, is important. And I really want to emphasize considering self employment, considering sole proprietorship legal structure before you rush and get that LLC. Because you see a lot of people getting their LLC, but they haven't planned their business. They don't know who their customers are. They haven't made any sales, but yet they've got this LLC. So I recently got an update on Social Security report. What is it, every 10 years? Showing every single credit that I've ever earned since I worked, since I was a teenager. I started my career at 21 as an accountant, launched my first business at 25, which was vacancy cleaning. And every single one of my businesses have credits for every single year that I have worked and or had a business since the 80s. My Social Security benefits paid through the self-employment tax that you pay as a sole proprietor. And I want to make that very, very clear. So when you see these promos pushing and convincing new entrepreneurs to get your LLC, is it just for sales? Or are there some real benefits behind that? So let's talk about starting your business as self employed, doing business as a DBA versus rushing to get that LLC. The push to convince new entrepreneurs to get an LLC pretty much comes down to a mix of real benefits, because it depends on your personal situation, but also marketing. So let's talk about what that really means. When people say be careful, you might not be paying into the system, that's not entirely accurate. And I want you to be aware of that. If you're a sole proprietor, if you're a freelancer, if you're running a DBA, you are, in fact, paying into Social Security. You're paying into Medicare. You're paying into disability insurance, SDI. You're just doing it through self-employment tax. That's what that 15.3% is for. It's for Social Security, retirement income. It's for Medicare, health coverage. It's for disability and survivor benefits, protection for you and your family. So don't let fear hold you back from starting your own business. Don't let freelancing or going nomad hinder you from doing what you really want to do. You're still building your future. Okay? You don't have to run out and get an LLC. You don't have to run out and do anything until you know that this business that you want to start is actually going to generate an income. I'm exhibit A of that prime example. 35 years, self employed, four businesses, multiple side hustles, and I'm fully protected. What's most beneficial for you? Does it make sense for you to have an LLC, or should you start with the sole proprietorship, a DBA, in the beginning so you can focus on growing your business without the stress of all of that additional paperwork? Now, why does this matter to you? You're self employed, you're making oodles of money. You don't know how long your business is going to go. You don't know what physical health condition you're going to be in later on down the road. By paying this self employment tax, you are earning Social Security benefits that provide retirement income starting as early as age 62. Because life gets to lifen and you don't know what's going to happen. Even if you make oodles of money when you first start your business in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, you've still got a decade or two or three in there where life happens and you may not have it when you're 62. This is one of the ways that you can get it in there, right? You're qualifying for Medicare coverage when you turn 65. You're protecting yourself with disability and survivor benefits in case of unforeseen circumstances. Without paying into these programs, you won't have access to Social Security or Medicare later in life, meaning you'd have to rely solely on what you personally saved, what you personally invested, and your own private insurance. Even though self-employment tax feels like a burden, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm paying 15.3%. I've been saying it for decades. It's essentially an investment into your future, into your financial security, ensuring you do have retirement income and retirement health coverage down the road. Biggest advantage of the LLC is that it legally separates you from the personal asset. So anytime you incorporate your business, you're creating a separate entity separate from yourself. So the real benefits, liability protection, that's what it is, a limited liability corporation. So if your business is sued or goes into debt, your personal savings, your home, any of your personal assets are typically protected because they're suing the business. They're not suing you. Credibility and professionalism. Having an LLC does make you look more established, makes you look more trustworthy to clients, to investors, definitely to lenders. Tax flexibility. An LLC allows you to pass through taxation, much like sole proprietors do, but you also have that option to be taxed as an S Corp, which can help reduce self-employment taxes if you meet certain thresholds. And that 15.3% is really not that bad. So when you talk about that minute adjustment, it's like I'm paying for an LLC just to get, a $20, I don't know what it is, but a very small adjustment. Especially when you're new, you're not making that much money. So if you're only making $10,000 a year, or let's say you're making $1,000 a month, how much could the adjustment be? Like, it's just not significant enough, is my point. Easier business growth and funding. LLCs can open business bank account. And if you open a business bank account, that means you can apply for business credit and even bring in investors more easily than a sole proprietor can. Because if they need to come after you, they're saying, this girl's sitting at her kitchen table, she doesn't own anything. That's a high risk compared to something that they might be able to recoup their losses from, right? And finally, separation of business and personal finances, which you should be doing from the very day that you decide to go into business anyway, is separating your personal and your business finances. But keeping them separate helps with your bookkeeping, it helps with your taxes, and of course, this all funnels into legal protection. Now, the marketing push part for the LLC, there's also a huge industry built around simply selling LLC formation services. It's a service, a service that many people don't know how to do or would rather have a professional do to make sure they do it correctly. But it's just a service. That's one of the services that you could push because it's a legal issue. If it's legal, financial, or medical, they can usually push certain things where sometimes you can kind of do it yourself. And in reality, many businesses, especially if you're solo, you're a freelancer, you're a digital nomad, you can start a sole proprietorship and transition to an LLC later if you think you need it. But it's not urgent. It's marketing. It's really marketing. Now, again, I will say under certain circumstances and certain protections, which I just explained to you, you may see the need, depending on the type of business you have, you may see the need to do that. And then I encourage you to do that. But if you are a blogger writing about your cat, really, there's just not a need for it. Or you may be in a certain type of business where there is a need or will be a potential need, especially once you get bigger or whatever the case may be. But in the beginning stages, start. I want you to think about, can I start this business as a DBA? If you're just freelancing, consulting, running a low risk online business, are you writing ebooks? Like if that's all you're doing, you may not need one immediately. You're just already protected by self-employment laws. If you're selling physical products, if you're hiring employees, if you're engaging in activities with higher legal risks, if you're literally helping people make financial investments, you're telling people invest your money over here. If you're qualified to do that, and they're following your instructions, you're giving them financial advice, then yeah. Now, even as an accountant, when I'm reading your books and I'm explaining to you what's happening, I'm still not giving you legal advice. I'm telling you what the report and information says. I'm telling you what the health of your business looks like so that you can make sound decisions yourself. And if you're making a good income, I would say 50, 75,000 or more. Yeah, I would say at least elect for an S corp. S corp came about and then it wasn't such a great idea, and now it's a great idea again because laws change, things change. And so now S corp status, um, as it stands, is good for tax saving, and it could definitely be worth it. Um, So the bottom line is LLCs offer real advantages. It really does. But the surge in marketing is partly business driven. It's sales driven. It's not imperative that if you start a business, you need an LLC. Because what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself paying for fees to maintain that LLC. Even though you haven't made any money, you're still paying fees for that to maintain that status. And it's more cumbersome, more costly than it's really worth. So let's recap. The bottom line, LLC, best for risk protection, flexibility, and credibility. S Corp, best for tax savings if it's, say, 50K or more. So once you hit 50K, I want you to start talking to whoever's managing your finances, whoever's managing your taxes, whoever's managing your investments. I want you to start, I want you to sit down and have a conversation once you hit 50,000. They may tell you to wait until you get to 60. I don't know. But the point is, I want you to be aware of that threshold. But a sole proprietorship is best for small, low risk, newly started businesses. This is the type of information that you need in order to maintain your business. Whether you're starting out or you've been in business for years, No Boss Workshops offers this guidance that you need to plan, launch, and scale your business successfully. From handling your finances to building sustainable businesses, we've got actionable content, links, tools, and resources to help entrepreneurs like you get the most out of the information and get real results. Because building a successful business means not only earning, but managing your money wisely. All part of building a stable and financial future. Now, there's a link in the description that's going to help you. It's a simple business structure checklist, as well as a link to Hub 6, No Boss Hub 6 Facebook group, where you can join in, network, live Q&A, watch the videos, download a bunch of free stuff, whatever it is that you need to do. Hub 6 is for building income streams and managing your money. That's everything that's in there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.